Welcome to the Media Bubble Podcast. I'm Karol and he's Fredrik, and let's get this show on the road.
Yeah, so for today's topic of the episode, Carol, do you remember a couple of years ago? This show has ended now. I don't really remember when it has ended, but Riverdale has ended after, I don't, 5+ seasons something.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I've always wanted to see it, but I've never given it. I haven't given it a chance yet.
I remember seeing the first episode back in the day when it came out, and some things that I remember was that it took Archie comic, which was a kind of, I guess, family-friendly comic book, which is kind of a love triangle, and it's like a comic book every week where kind of there's one story that doesn't affect really what happens in the next week's comics. And since that first episode, where, if I remember correctly, they changed a bit of stuff. Like the first episode is literally like someone has been killed here, and Archie is together with the school teacher.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. So I am privy to some of the information of Riverdale. I've seen recaps and like the weirdest stuff that's going on. And surprisingly, Archie, a high school kid, being with his teacher and seeing a murder happen is not one of the weirdest things.
No, probably not. But since seeing that first episode, I haven't really seen Riverdale since then. The only thing that I have really heard is that since then it became like the weirdest show of all time with its plot lines. So what I thought we could do in today's episode is react to some of those plot lines. So I have given Carol a link to, let's see, movie web article of Riverdale, the weirdest storylines in the entire series. And these are apparently a top 10 of the weirdest storylines, and I thought we could take turns to read some of them and react to them, I guess.
I'm kind of stoked for this. Let's talk about it. I'm game.
Okay, should I read the first one?
Sure.
But let's see. Number 10. I'm also going to link this article in the description of this video.
Yeah, it's from movieweb.com. Riverdale, the weirdest storylines in the entire series.
Let's see. Number 10. Dark Betty. A running theme throughout pretty much the entirety of Riverdale's 7th season, it apparently had 7 seasons, okay, is that Betty has this darkness within her, contrasting with her good girl next door image. This leads to several crazy plot points across the show. For example, she joins Junior FBI training program, in which she discovers the existence of serial killer genes, which of course she has. It also source of tension between Betty and Evelyn and Edgar, the leader of a cult who believes she needs to be eliminated as a result of this. The cult brainwashes Betty's mother in some way so that they can say a trigger word and she will try to eliminate Betty, so poor old Betty has to deal with her mother trying to stab her after receiving a phone call from the cult. Is this number 10?
Yup.
What?
And the fun thing is, if I remember this correctly, so Betty, her whole family has this gene, so she's not the only one. She's not like the only serial killer in this town.
She has a serial killer gene.
Yes, and you know how it manifests?
That does exist.
Like, when it's Dark Betty, when she puts on like a cheap, dark, like black wig, and then she's Dark Betty.
Oh, like this picture that is featured here.
Yeah, that's the only difference. And she's like cold and manipulative. And at one point, I think I remember she wanted to cook like the head bully from her school in a jacuzzi.
So in this first number 10 with Dark Betty, we have a serial killer gene, we have a cult, and we have her mom trying to murder her.
Yeah, an FBI training program.
Yeah, that too. Okay, this show might actually have been really weird.
I think we need to see. I think I need to see it.
So I'm not exactly sure even what to say. How do you even come up with a serial killer gene and oh, this nice pretty girl that we have here, we're going to give her a dark side.
The thing is, I mean, as you've noticed, a lot of a lot. This show had a lot of writers, like a lot, and a lot of the times they were just throwing stuff at the wall, trying to make anything stick, and
Dark bed
I
is
think
still
this is,
stuck, I guess.
and I think this is one of the results. Like it will be explained further down the list. I kind of skimmed it, and I will explain it further. But yeah, it's one of these things that stuck.
Like I'm wondering if this show just did random plot lines just to give it that what the hell factory.
I think they might have. You will see down the list.
Okay, I guess we can go on to the next point. Do you want to read this, Carol?
Yeah. So, number 9, Betty's brother. Another crazy turn of events relating to Betty is discovering that her mother had a son before she and her sister were born. He was given up for adoption. She and her mother track down his son, Cheek, who is immediately signs shows of being strange. Eventually, it turns out that he's not what they thought they would be, and Betty believes that he murdered her real brother, so she hands him over to the town's serial killer, who she doesn't know is her father. Down the line, it's revealed that Chick and Betty's real brother, Charles, are in love and plotting to take down Betty's family. Both Chick and Charles continue to show up a few more times in the series, and they never bring good news.
So we are 2 topics in, and Betty is the topic of both of them.
I think I've heard some of it before about there being like a gay brother, but I didn't know they were planning a serial killer revenge on the family.
Yeah, so she contacts her serial killer dad. That line was just strange. Yeah.
Serial killer gene.
Yeah. That comes up again, I guess, to kill her fake brother. So she on the line it's really that Jack and Betty's real brother Charles. So her brother is so her real life brother.
She has a gay brother and a person who was posing as her brother, and they are in love.
So his love interest is playing a fake. Why wouldn't you just?
Okay. So Betty
this is
has
just
a
making
brother.
it complicated for making it complicated, I feel like.
I think so. Yes. So Betty has a brother, and this brother has a boyfriend, but this brother's boyfriend is posing as her brother.
At the same time, she wants to murder this fake brother with her serial killer dad.
Exactly. I mean, as we said, the serial killer gene, and like it's serial killers are like a theme in Riverdale, I guess.
Yeah, apparently so.
Please go to point number 8. It's one of my favorite things.
What the heck is this? The Gargoyle King.
Yes.
Season 3 is where things start to get really crazy, like they haven't already. The season introduces both the aforementioned origin harvested cult or the farm, and the Gargoyle King, the latter of which is a creature that appears to those playing the game Cryphones and Gargoyles, which is like a version of Dungeons and Dragons, that leads to the player sacrificing themselves to a fictional deity. After few false reveals of who might be behind the game, it is finally revealed to be Penelope Blossoms, Cheryl's mother and Betty's aunt. Here comes Betty again, with Chick making an appearance as the person in the Gargoyle King's suit. Why, you ask? Penelope hated the town and had a decision she needed to cleanse it of its sinners, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
so
why were you so excited about this point, if I may ask?
hmm. So there is a certain tabletop role-playing game I play,
Hmm.
and I don't think if you've heard of it. It's D&D. But I just wanted
From what I can get, you have heard of this plot line before.
Yes, but the thing is, this is like satanic panic. D&D players sacrificing themselves to the devil and they are dead. But at the same time, there's a freaking cult in town that harvests organs. Like this is two simultaneous plot lines at the same time. And I don't know even if it in the future seasons there's not another cult in the town.
Yeah, the fact that these are two separate plot lines in the same seasons is.
And this is a show which starts about a death of a like a young kid that goes to school.
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, this is based on Archie comics. How is this the most like
You already forgot.
the most like family friendly? Actually, I haven't read Archie. If I'm being honest, it isn't as big here as it is in America. But from what I can understand, it's like one of the most child or family friendly comic books.
It's milk toast, but even
Mm.
the comics sometimes flirted with a little bit of edge. For example, there was the zombie apocalypse one or the aliens one crossover where just they were just killing characters left and right. There's a Sabrina apocalypse one. I feel if I'm not confusing it
Sabrina
with the zombie one.
Apocalypse.
I don't think that's the name, but basically, so Sabrina the Teenage Witch had a lot of crossovers with Archie. She's
Yeah,
like a
she
character in
first
that.
appeared in Archie comics.
Yeah. So a lot there is magical weird stuff in the canon, and sometimes it manifests in a zombie apocalypse.
For me, when I was younger, I always felt like Sabrina the Teenage Witch was the bigger property, if I'm being honest.
Same. Like I have more vivid memories with Sabrina. I've seen the original like TV show with the cat puppet.
One thing that I find interesting again is that it's keep running with Betty's family. Now it's Betty's aunt too. So we have Betty's mother, her father, her aunt, her fake brother, her real brother. All 3 points have related to Betty in somehow.
Yeah. Okay,
What an
so
interesting
there's
character.
Archie and there's Jacques. Okay, so I think at the same time as the cult and the rat, like the Gargoyle King, I think Archie was like in an underground fight club, if I remember this correctly.
Well, maybe it will come up in another. Let's see.
Yeah,
Your turn to
like
read,
he
I
just
guess.
got into a fight club. But yes, next up, the Vixens cheer for inmates. In first season of Riverdale, Archie lands himself in jail. Once there, he refuses to get involved in the gang warfare because he's too pure of heart and finds himself in a pickle. He tries to unite the other prisoners through the magic of sport. In order to support him, Veronica.
That is such a movie plot line.
There is a TV show there somewhere. Plotline. In order to support him, Veronica does what any good girlfriend would do and arranges her cheerleading squad, the Vixens, to cheer for the big game. The show is no stranger to musical moments, but Veronica and her friends singing Jailhouse Rock for a group of literal inmates is one of the stands out most among the crowd.
I want to see this.
Jesus Christ. What is this High School Musical moment? They're literal criminals, rapists, and killers, and she's like,
They're getting a cheerleader squad.
And Archie is like running a sports anime.
in a school with murderers.
I'm sorry, but who the hell allowed these cheerleaders to cheer for inmates?
I can just imagine a cheerleading squad standing outside a prison like, go Archie, go.
We don't care that you're in jail. We will love you anyway. Go inmates.
The weirdest thing is I feel like this is almost the tamest one so far.
Yeah, but read up the next one.
Are we going through this a bit fast? How long have we come?
We're halfway, and we're 15 minutes in.
Well, I guess we can go to next one. There was a mass seizure at the school. Okay. Yet another legendary Season 3 moment. Are all these from Season 3? The Gargoyle King and the Cult Season 3. Also in the third seasons. Also in the third season, the eviction share for inmates. Wow, Season 3 really went off. Yet another legendary Season 3 moment was the mass seizure, a long-running arc in Riverdale. Is Veronica's father, Hiram Lodge, making many attempts to either take over the town or just destroy it in Season 3. His plan involves the seizure in question. By orchestrating this seizure outbreak through the local diner, Pops Hiram is able to convince the necessary forces that there is something seriously dangerous at play in the town. Therefore, he gets the town to put under quarantine, with no one allowed in or out. I wonder which year this came out. With this lockdown in place, there will be no one to scrutinize his next moves to take over the town via a scheme involving the prison he owns, the drugs he is peddling. Let's see, a quarantine. When did Season 3 came out? I'm curious.
We need to see. But while you look this up, let me explain what happens in the episode. So people are just getting seizures left and right. They are falling in the hallways. People are freaking out, and like there's a cliffhanger. Like this episode ends on a cliffhanger. Like they lock the whole town. Nobody is allowed to leave. They are stuck in the town.
Yeah, and
with episode.
With this crazy how this crazy town is, you don't want to be stuck in. Let's see, Season 3 came out October 10th, 2018 and lasted May 15, 2019. So, if I remember correctly, the coronavirus came like late 2019 in China and the rest of the world 2020.
Yeah, but also remember that there was like pre-production, like they had to film this thing before it was also released.
So it's kind of just funny how some events in the show can, I guess, mirror real life sometimes, like because we quarantine quite after this.
But let me tell you the ending of this plot. So, as I said, everyone is dropping like flies left and right. There's a cliffhanger. This town is locked. There's like a police barricade with guns. Next episode, it's fixed. It's been weeks. People have realized that like it's just dropped. It's just not relevant anymore. People are back in school and everything is happening as normal.
Are you kidding me?
No.
They spent the whole episode with this plot and leave this big cliffhanger.
And next episode, just like, yeah, I guess everyone had seizures, but it's like really chill now, so we're going back to school.
Actually, if I would have been a writer, wouldn't that have been just fun to do? Like, here you have this big plot line that you will think we will spend a major time on in this season, and then just next episode, oh, it's fixed now.
Yeah, I mean, we're going back to the thing about there being many writers. Like, there's a lot of writers. A lot of them just wanted to throw anything anything at the wall, and they then just didn't come back to write another episode. So it's like, I mean, what are we going to do with this? Like, fuck if we know. Let's just go back to status quo.
Think about coming in here as a new writer and you just okay. Here are the plot lines you need to keep developing on. Just
As if. A seizure outbreak.
well, this show is already crazy. I might as well continue, I guess.
Yeah, but also this is also keep in mind also the cult, also Gargoyle King. At the same time.
What? Isn't this supposed to be a show about a love triangle?
Oh baby, you don't know about the ending. Continue.
I guess we will be coming there at some point.
Okay, so number 5, Cheryl's reunion with her brother.
Is it you or me? That I guess it's you.
Yeah, because you read about the seizure. So, the first season of Riverdale, and the most normal by far, centers around the death of Cheryl's twin brother. That is like the inciting incident. That's why, like, Archie's relationship with the teacher gets complicated because they've heard the gunshot that was fired at Cheryl's brother.
I remember actually something like that.
Yeah, but like since teacher-student relations pretty bad, so they cannot say anything.
Have you thought about that? There was a teacher-student relationship, and it isn't even mentioned in this top 10 of weirdest plot lines.
I think I've said it so even at the beginning of the episode. Like, other shows would be developing that shit for seasons. I know like Gossip Girl did, right?
Yeah, it did.
Ezra Miller. But anyway, so death of Cheryl's twin brother. Jason, as everyone scrambles to solve the murder. By the third season, he has been dead for a while, but it's still fresh, and and Cheryl would do anything to see her brother again. This is how the farm entices her in. They tell her she'll be able to see Jason again, who is actually just Chick with his hair dyed red. Betty's evil serial killer brother. However, when Cheryl is no longer under the farm's spell, she discovers that Edgar, the leader, has robbed Jason's grave and stolen his body. So she does the only reasonable thing in that scenario and takes his body back home with her. She keeps him in a shrine-like room and regularly talks to him, though later in the show it becomes an issue when he seems to be haunted.
Okay, this show just became just became a horror show. Okay, I need to go back on some points here that you read. Like, but this is how they form entire. So they tell her she's able to see Jason again, who is actually just Chick with his hair dyed red.
Yes.
And Chick, if I remember correctly, that was Betty's fake brother.
Yes.
Okay, so he's back. We're back to Betty again,
It could be anyone else. It could be anyone else, but it's specifically Betty's brother with his hair dyed red.
How are we still on the third season when I think about it? This, like screw all the other season. It seems like the third season is where everything happened.
That's I mean, it kind of lost its steam in the fourth season, but the fifth season also has its good points. Also, I just wanted to mention, like, Cheryl, because, I mean, we're already spoiling, right? So Cheryl it's been shown that basically how her brother died, he wasn't supposed to die. Her brother was supposed to run away, and she was complicit. She was like making plans with him. So Cheryl said to her brother, "Oh, I lost my gloves by the river. Could you go and pick them out for me?" Right? And he was supposed to go to the river, cross the river, and escape this town. He was just supposed to run and then contact her when he was, by himself. But he never did. And then his body is found. And she's like, holy fucking shit. I killed him. This is my fault. And she's like super distressed and manic. At least when she becomes more crazy as the seasons go on. Ergo, she has the haunted body of her dead brother
In her room.
in her room.
Who murdered him in the first season? What wasn't it one of his parents, if I remember?
I don't remember. It was convoluted.
Yeah, it probably was. If I remember the few things I saw, it's like to me it almost felt like it that plotline was very present at certain time plots in the first season, and other times it was just look at this strange shit that happens.
God, there's also a few things not in this list, but let's move on to number 4.
Now I want to keep being here a little bit more. Let's see. The farm spell, she discovers that Edgar, the leader, had robbed the grave of and stolen his body, and she keeps him in a shrine-like room and regularly talks to him. Actually, let's move on. I have.
You know what? Let's stay. I just wanted to say, like, Cheryl's parents, right? They never go to her room and see, like, oh, I guess, like.
Why is he holding
like
a
Jason
doll?
Is here.
Why is he holding a doll at the same time? This just makes it more creepy. It's like he already is a doll holding a doll of his own.
Yeah, it's a lot. But let's go to number 4. In the meantime, I'll look up Cheryl's family situation.
Okay, early in the 4th season, the cult storyline is wrapping up, and Edgar makes some demands from Betty in exchange for some of the farm hostage. This includes a bus, passports, money, and food. Betty provides them, but finds that she has been tricked when she wakes up from being knocked out in a motel room with her mother. It turns out that the farm grand final was going to include strapping Betty and her mother to the front of the bus while they were all inside and driving off a cliff. Furthermore, Edgar himself planned to launch himself to freedom with a literal rocket. Was he planning to go to the space or sky? Who knows? We never know, because he is shot before he can carry out his final plan. Let's see what we have here. Have you thought that... Have you...
Oh, I remember this one. Yeah, it was when... Oh god, I've seen clips of this.
One thing that I'm starting to think about is that we have gone... Well, how many have we done? Seven so far, and none of them have really been about Archie.
I mean, as I said, he was like he was in jail. He was in a fight club. He was messing with his father about, like, he wants to write music, but his father said, no, you're gonna fix cars because that's what real men do.
Didn't his father die at some point too?
I think so. And we're also not mentioning the Jughead monologue from this series.
Okay, so I guess the cult is finally over, and as a final, they were thinking about taking Betty and her mother for a ride with the bus. Betty comes up again in one of these points. What isn't there a character also, Jughead? He has literally not been mentioned once.
I mean, because Jughead is like, what was that? He went to like a private school for boys in the meantime.
Did he?
Yeah, and it was like really like dark academia, and he was in a gang too. Oh my god, I forgot. Yeah, like Jughead was like a leader of a gang, and he was like killing people.
What?
It's not even on the list.
It's not even on the list.
Oh my god, yeah, because I was looking up Cheryl. I totally forgot about that. But going back to the farm's demise, at this point, like Betty is like a fully FBI agent they're like going to Mexico, I think, and this guy is about to blow himself up to the sky because he wants to like not be responsible for organ harvesting. And they're like, this is and this whole like scene is shot like a police drama, like from NCSI or like from what's the other one?
Okay, I think I
Like
understand.
like a police show. And we're going back to the whole deal. This is about teens in school.
Mm.
And this is
Who even shoots him?
and he's gonna blow himself up into the sky on a big rocket.
How did even Betty become a junior FBI agent?
Because she has a serial killer gene and she's really good at it. Is that enough of an explanation?
Well, in this show, I guess, shouldn't it be the other way around, that the FBI would want to take her in?
Oh, I forgot. Okay, so I was looking up. I know I'm jumping, but what was that? So Cheryl, she's apparently like third cousin to Betty. Like they're somehow related, which explains a lot because in one of the later seasons, like Cheryl gains like bee powers.
I thought you would say that she also has the serial killer gene.
No, it's much more weirder than that. She just can control bees. And she's
It's
and
weird
she's
that it's
also
the serial
starting, like,
killer
a
gene.
the serial killer gene and the bee queen. And also, yeah, Jughead starts like a gang and he kills a bunch of people.
And that's not even on the list. Okay, this man goes wants to go on a rocket. He fails. I guess we can move on to the next one. Or do you have something to say about the family?
Yeah, so I've been checking out Cheryl's like family, and so also it's so weird because she's related to Betty. So Chick, you know the guy with his hair dyed red,
Hmm?
he's also her family. So he wasn't so her third cousin in law was posing as her dead twin brother. And it's like, and her parents, I don't know, I guess they just didn't care about the dead body in her bedroom or whatever.
I guess not.
God, this show is weird. Yeah, but Jason was killed by their father. And
Oh, okay.
then her father offed himself. And then Cheryl tries to kill herself.
Yeah, sure. Let's see. I think you have had the next one.
Yeah, so we had the Gargoyle King, but what about number 3, the Rat King?
Yeah, what about him?
Season 5 of Riverdale has a time jump, so the characters are adults now and haven't seen what happened in the last years of their lives. And we haven't seen. For Jughead, episode 14 provides some interesting information about these missing years. In Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, Jughead tells the story of hitting rock bottom. This book involves his book launch party, which he invited Betty to, and she agreed to come but never showed up. Also, Jughead is a writer and he carries around like a typewriter around with him.
As you do.
I think. Yeah. There's a lot of like bisexual writing involved too.
Wouldn't it be
Whatever.
easier just to have a normal book and pen and write as you go?
Jughead is a hipster.
You can't do the normal stuff.
As a result of this, Jughead gets excessively drunk, leaves Betty a vicious voicemail, and wanders around the streets of New York, only to fall into the city's sewers. Down there, he meets the Rat King and kept him entertained by reading for him from his novel. Later, he wakes up in a hospital bed to discover his experience had been a rabies-induced hallucination after being swarmed and bitten by real rats.
Do you want to know a weird thing that I was thinking about when I saw the title The Rat King? I remember from the old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon like the 80s one, there was one episode where there was a villain named the Rat King, which could control rats, and because Splinter is also a rat, he could technically also control Splinter.
I think I kind of remember what you're saying.
I wonder, because these are based on comic book, I wonder if that is some... No, it can't be. Like, I gotta say that through all the other stuff we have been through, the Rat King doesn't seem that surprising, if I'm being honest. If I just compare the other stuff.
The thing is, it's like we already had cults and serial killers, and this time he falls into a sewer in New York and hallucinates a big rat that he needs to read a story to.
Actually, something that we just glossed over, I guess, is that apparently there has been a time skip for everyone, and they're older now.
Yeah. And Jughead is an alcoholic.
Maybe it's a good turn to actually do that, because these characters, when they were cast, they already didn't look like teens, and by season 5 they probably doesn't look like teenagers at all. So maybe it would be a good point to make a time skip. Well, what happens next? Number 2, Riverdale. Next, in season 6, the season begins with 5 episodes set in an alternate universe, where a lot of the same but a lot is different, and the town is named Riverdale. The previous Riverdale season closed with an explosion at Archie's house, which seems to be what blasted everyone into this new dimension. The most notable change is that the core characters discovers themselves to have supernatural abilities now. What the heck did this?
Yup, I'm reading it's like a alternate pocket universe.
In this episode, several characters die, including Archie himself, so they call in Sabrina, the teenage witch, to help them retrieve their friends from the sweet hereafter. In the final Riverdale episode, Jughead discovered that the universe are intertwined in a way that they shouldn't be, and must fight off versions of himself in order to restore the balance. So this show kind of went a bit off the walls now, because now we have different dimension and supernatural abilities, and from what I can understand, like, even how weird the show got, it still kind of it kind of still had some kind of or logic physics to it. Now I guess it just went off the wall completely, like alternate universes and characters dies and supernatural abilities and fixing all the alternate universes. This is a lot for teenagers, I gotta say.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm reading up to what like more information about this. So basically, Riverdale, that's the entire season. It's just happening in this parallel universe, and it's because the writers wanted to have a crossover, like event season series with the chilling adventures of Sabrina. So in this season, Sabrina is also in the show.
Yeah, I read about her. Actually, I saw a little bit about that show when that came out too. I felt like it had potential in its style, but the story went a bit of nowhere, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, like I had the same impression, and I also started watching Sabrina. It's just like after a while, it kind of got boring. But the thing is, every episode is like a horror trope. Ghosts, devils, etc., etc. And always a character dies. And seemingly, it like people, when they die in Riverdale, they wake up in Riverdale, but it also is not like a dream state. It affects reality in some way.
I hope it's like that Southport thing where they killed Kenny. And the next episode, they act like nothing happened.
I'm reading a synopsis of this. What the hell?
This sounds interesting in a writer's kind of perspective. Like, we can do a lot of horror elements, and we can do whatever we want, and everything will be fixed in the next episode.
So basically, it's called Riverdale because serial killers, right? There's been a lot of killing going in Riverdale. And they're saying, okay, well, if we rebrand, people are gonna not think about the murders that happened here. So they changed it to Riverdale. And apparently, it's a reference to Welcome to Night Vale. Because it's also like supernatural there. This is so cool. God, I want to see this. It sounds so entertaining.
Yeah. It has at this point become so strange that you kind of want to see it.
Just the sheer gall of putting another, like setting a, I mean, there has been shows that did this with another universe. We have like Archer, for example, from the animated ones. But it's so funny that like we can't go further up from here. We have to introduce magical powers and demons and ghosts and set it into another universe so that we can like make it interesting.
Yeah, they have gone so far that the only way they could go farther was alternate universes.
I have to see the B powers. Let me look it up, the B powers.
Like I gotta be honest, Karol. When I said that I had heard that the Riverdale was a strange show, and I found this article, I did not think that this show would go this off the walls. And we still have 1 point left.
Yeah. Let me just see. Because we talked about it. It's a shame. I can't find the link for all of the powers of all the characters that they have. Sadly.
Do they have the same powers in the season?
No idea.
Okay, I guess it's your turn to read the last part, Karol.
Yeah, so you were wondering about this show being about a love triangle. Well, the final twist of the show was the final polycule. A central part of the Archie Comics universe included said love triangle, or square, between Archie, Veronica, Betty, and Jughead. It appears in the comics and has been present in Riverdale, both in the show itself and the intense fan behavior, rooting for different pairings, etc., etc. However, in true Riverdale style, the show turned all this on its head in the final episode. They revealed that the four of them spent a year as a quad, where they were all together at once, which is arguably the most fitting end for this group of people. Interestingly, each pairing is depicted intimately except for Archie and Jughead. In an interview with Variety, producer Sarah Sketcher says, I mean, that's like too hot for TV. I don't think there was a reason for it. Which would be true, because it could also be because of that lingering cease and desist. Lingering cease and desist?
Actually, if I'm being honest, I have heard a little bit about the final episode. I have heard that it's like a time skip, and Betty is like old and the only survivor of the gang, and her final night she goes like in a dream scenario where she revisits her old past or something like that.
What? Wait, what? Are we talking about the same ending?
Yeah, we're talking about the same ending.
How did they all die? Why did they all die?
Of age. Yeah, I said it was a time skip. Like,
So
it
another
goes to,
time skip.
It goes to that Betty is the. Actually, what happened to the last time skip when I think about it?
Yeah, because as you said, like, because from what I understood, the last season had a time skip, right? And now you're saying there's another time skip where Betty is old and like the only one left from her friend group.
That is what I have heard about the very last episode. and she is visited by Jughead, but it's not actually Jughead. It's like some spirit that just has the image of Jughead that is presenting her with looking into her past relationships, and you also get to know what happened to every characters in the future, I guess. No one actually ended up together, if I remember correctly, and if I'm being honest, this last part of them all four being together is kind of like a cop-out answer to, oh, who is Archie going to end up with? Everyone, apparently. What are you looking up?
I'm looking up the Jughead gang. It's just, I mean, it's so weird, man. So what you're saying is, so even after the polycule, that they don't end up together, or do you mean like it was in the comics?
No, I mean the show.
What the fuck, man?
No one actually ends up with each other except for, I guess, this weird foursome for a year after life. And actually, I'm going to do something
when you get into a polycule. Mm-hmm.
No, I'm going to actually look. I'm going to Wikipedia, and I know that Wikipedia isn't always the best source, but usually it has correct information. I'm just going to read what happens in the last episode. Let's see. In the present day, after reading a recently deceased Jughead's obituary, an aged Betty tells her granddaughter Alice she wants to go back to Riverdale one last time. The night before they leave, she sees an apparition of Jughead as a teenager who brings her back to the day they graduate high school, passing through her house, the school, the coffee shop, Thornhill, and eventually ending up at Pops Tate's grave. She recalls the final fates of all her friends and their families, including her own. The next day, Alice and her husband brings Betty back to Riverdale, now a ghost town, and stop in front of Pops, now out of business, only for her to die in the back seat. A teenager Betty leaves the car and walks into a functional Pops meeting all her friends from high school teenagers once again. In the afterlife, she sits in a booth with Archie, Jughead, and Veronica outside. The apprehension of Jughead gives closer to the series. So that is the ending of Riverdale.
Yeah, a wonderfully weird ending for a weird show.
Think about the first episode of the show was kind of started with this murder mystery of the twin brother. And the last episode is... Okay. So, final thoughts on this video, I guess, Karol.
I either have to get into, I think I have to get into Riverdale. We might have to get a tub of popcorn and just watch it together. Because there's a lot of more weird shit happening. That this is only like best 10 of.
Yeah.
There's more.
Think about it in this way. Like every point was so far off that we have probably missed some major stuff.
Yeah, and I'm really interested in seeing what Riverdale has to offer.
Oh, the fact that they changed one letter literally, Riverdale.
Because it's marketing.
How do we change the image of our town? How? Well, let's change the D letter to a V.
You know what, Frank? Good enough. Cheap and fast. Let's go,
You
Riverdale.
get a promotion.
You get a promotion. God damn it. Well, I know what I'm gonna do this weekend.
I guess this actually might be the weirdest show of all time after reading this list.
Like, just the sheer audacity and gall to just, like, have a cult a D&D demon and a serial killer gene. And I'm just at a loss for words. I'm so grateful it exists. Simply.
Well, I guess we can leave it there by saying Riverdale. Yeah, it was weird. As always, thank you all for listening, and we hope you enjoyed this as much as we have. Don't forget to follow, subscribe, or follow us on socials like Twitter, YouTube, or Tumblr. And also a big thanks to Jahzzar for our intro and outro comedy. See you again in the next episode, and have a wonderful day.